Crimson Desert is basically The Sims, and this game is doomed to be nominated for at least Action Game of the Year. Hi everyone, this is Alex, and Crimson Desert is doing the impossible. It is capturing our hearts. One of my main doubts was how much the game would be able to immerse you in its world, because despite the wildly fast and dynamic combat, you can get tired of constant encounters. I was worried that I would have to run a lot across a huge map, liberate outpost after outpost, and it would turn into a boring routine. I'm still worried about the scale of the map, that it might be too huge, and as a result one might start to experience fatigue from such a vast world. But after what was shown in the third and final showcase regarding side activities in the world, most of my fears disappeared. We have main hub, the Greymanes camp, but what could be so cool about just arranging furniture like in The Sims, or gathering resources for crafting food in the camp? The coolness lies precisely in upgrading the camp. In my personal opinion, this gameplay element will not only enhance the player's involvement in the process, but will also simply emotionally attach them more strongly to the Brotherhood of Greymanes, giving it depth. I think the ability to gather resources in the garden on the base farm might keep you engaged for a long time. Unlike how Bethesda boasted about its obsession with food in Starfield, where it looked strange, here the developers are really obsessed with food. I would say that this is a mini city building simulator within an action-adventure game, where you need to invest in development and then get cool bonuses in return. An excellent feature is the ability to send Greymanes on missions in the world. Firstly, it's not free and requires resources, but in return, the game offers rewards. I don't see any deep depth here, but even at such a superficial level, it is a pleasant addition to the process, considering that, as a reward, you can get not only money but also peaceful movement around the world if the Greymanes are sent to clear a fortress that block passage. The game flexes the contrast of the inhabitants who populate Pilewell. This is super cool. Again, this works to immerse you in the atmosphere. A large number of ethnicities, different clothing styles, this is a huge plus in world building. And I also like the demonstration of various side quests from NPCs from these different corners of the world. I believe that at some point it will be difficult to return to the main quest. If such a concentration of side activities awaits us, then it will really be possible to get stuck in this for a long time. In fact, in The Witcher, I spent a lot of time just completing all the quests from the boards in the villages and exploring points of interest. And only after leveling up did I go through the main quest. Like in The Elder Scrolls or Tainted Grail, the ability to engage in pickpocketing is an excellent feature. The game offers you the opportunity to more easily acquire some important items, but a fee or prison is the price for stealing. And I wonder if there will be any debuff for spending time in prison, and what else can be stolen besides the apples and money shown in the trailer. I kept wondering why there was a wind and temperature indicator above the minimap in the game, and it seems to me that the weather and wind can affect the possibility of moving by hot air balloon, and movement by hot air balloon will depend on the wind direction, but this is just my guesses. Cooking will be one of the main activities in the game, and this is great news. Apparently food can give serious buffs both for world exploration and for battles, increasing stamina and also strengthening health. I believe that this will allow for deeper immersion in the game and exploration of the functionality that the developers have laid out. Because globally, I believe the main emphasis in games is always on equipment. In RPGs, for example, I personally always try to find the best equipment rather than bothering with food and flasks, since their effect is always weaker than the damage from a cooler sword or better defense armor. But this happens because I mainly play as melee class. By the way, hunting was shown. Cliff was wearing a camouflage suit. I don't know if this is a special hunting suit or just a separate cape. However, if it's a special cape that makes hunting animals easier, it would be a great addition to the hunt itself. The game's marketing campaign is crazy, and I think people expect a lot from this game. but I prefer to keep expectations low. I consider it the right decision that the developers describe their game as an action-adventure game. Although, in my opinion, this is a very vague definition, but this expands the audience of potential players. I believe this is done precisely for this reason, whereas the word RPG could still narrow the circle of people who might be interested. RPG implies a slower pace of the game and more thoughtful playthrough. In Crimson Desert, judging by all the previews, all of these will be present. But the word action makes it clear that the game will be faster and more dynamic, which immediately attracts an even larger audience. We are waiting for the release. Subscribe and hit like if you see Crimson Desert as a nominee for Game of the Year. And in the comments, write what you would do first in this game after the prologue, when we have freedom of action. See ya! By the way, I produced the entire soundtrack for this video. If you like the atmosphere, the link is in the pinned comment.